State has a lot of time. Poole with the ball. Launches.
The Golden State Warriors are coming off a dramatic playoff run and a dominant championship victory. Most analysts and pundits were giving them no chance before the 2021-22 season began.
I hate to say this right now, but to be honest with you, I don't see the Golden State Warriors bringing home another championship.
This was to be expected. The team had added some new pieces like Andrew Wiggins, who no one was sure about, and contributions from up-and-coming talents like Jordan Poole and Andrew Kuminga and Gary Payton Jr. were as of yet unknown. It was early in his very young career, but James Wiseman seemed to be a bust. For the Warriors anyway. Wiseman was recently shipped off to Detroit in a multiple-player deal. Another key question for the Warriors, and really anyone who watches and loves basketball, would Klay Thompson return to form after his devastating string of injuries? All these questions while still anchored by the unbelievable Steph Curry and the tenacious Draymond Green. With all this adversity, the Warriors defeated everyone who stepped in their way, including a young and upcoming Boston Celtics team led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Heading into the finals, you would have been hard-pressed to find anyone picking the Warriors. It was widely thought that Boston's long-wing defenders would give Steph and Jordan Poole fits, and that Klay might not be back enough to stop the likes of Brown and Tatum. They were wrong. They won the title and showered each other with champagne.
I admire some shoes.
And pants.
Oh, man. Good job, Steve. Congrats, man. Yeah. An amazingly special.
They threw a parade and celebrated their fourth title since 2015. It looked like the Warriors were back. Then in the offseason, the team had a bit of a fiasco. Draymond Green was filmed sucker-punching teammate Jordan Poole. The media's dream-type story. Draymond Green did something stupid that we can talk about. It seemed like it was a launching off point for everyone to try and bring the defending champs down. Fast forward to the present, the NBA is heading into the All-Star break. The West seemed to have gotten more formidable as the two disgruntled superstars from the Brooklyn Nets have brought their talents to the West. Kevin Durant was traded to the Phoenix Suns, where he'll run alongside an aging Chris Paul, lights-out Devin Booker, and a quality 17-10 big DeAndre Ayton. The talk is about immediate title contention, maybe even making them the team to beat. And flat earther Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks, where he will form a vicious duo with Luka Doncic, who some regard as a top 2 or 3 player in the league. Add those two teams to the mix with a strong Denver Nuggets, a feisty Memphis Grizzlies, and a stealthy, dangerous, under-the-radar Los Angeles Clippers, and a surprisingly fun Sacramento Kings. We've got a heck of a race to the finish of the season. And that is without even mentioning the teams the Golden State Warriors are battling for those final playoff play-in spots. Things are looking crazy and very condensed at the back end of the playoff bracket. The Warriors are battling with just about every team in the Western Conference, aside from the Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs. Both of those teams appear to be re-signing to cross their fingers they win the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. 3.5 games separate the team in 4th and the team in 12th, with the Lakers lurking on the outside, sitting in 13th in the Western Conference standings. As it stands, Golden State is in 9th place. The entire season has a lot of analysts, pundits, and even fans scratching their heads. In most observers' eyes, no team in the Western Conference has really stood out from the rest, aside from the Denver Nuggets, who are led by back-to-back MVP Nikola Jokic, aka the Joker. So it has people wondering, coming off a championship run in which Steph Curry finally got the monkey off his back with the Finals MVP aware, how did the Warriors get where they are, sitting in the 9th seed in the Western Conference? To know the answer to that, we've got to backtrack a bit. The blunt truth is the Warriors have looked like anything but a championship contender so far this season. However, thanks to their pedigree and their late success last season, people are still somewhat optimistic they may make a run towards the end of the year. It isn't totally unforeseeable. Where there's a Steph, there is a way. And speaking of Steph, he's proven any doubters who thought he may be losing a step wrong. He started this season looking like he may very well be the best player in the NBA. But, and there is always a but if you stick around long enough, Steph has been battling the injury bug this season. Injuries aren't anything new to Steph. He's fought through injuries for much of his career. He is currently sitting out with an injury to his leg, and this is following a slot of time earlier this season which forced him to miss 11 games with a shoulder injury. Injuries are part of the game. Everyone knows that, and we don't wish injuries on anyone, especially a team's best player and leader. But the problem with the Warriors has not always been tied to Steph's injuries. The team has been incredibly inconsistent all season. Klay seems like he has bounced back from his horrible injuries, and since Christmas has been averaging almost 28 points per game while shooting above 40 from beyond the arc. But it hasn't been enough. The Warriors do not get easy looks. This is a result of their lack of size at the rim, as well as their best three scorers all being perimeter players. Aside from a 5-game winning streak which started on Christmas Day, the Warriors have been trading wins and losses, which is exactly why they are sitting at .50. To be fair, Andrew Wiggins has also missed chunks of time with his own injuries, so it hasn't only been Steph. One positive, maybe, is the re-addition of Gary Payton Jr., who proved to be an indispensable part of their championship run last season. Like his father, GP2 is a lockdown defender.
Against Bielitsa, blocked by Payton. He can fly, and he was up there high to block the 7-footer.
The way it looks, post-trade deadline, the Warriors are the team they are going to be for the rest of the stretch and playoff push. Which begs the question, what do the Warriors need to do to stay in the title picture? The Warriors GM Bob Myers shared his thoughts, and he was blunt, which is a nice change of pace from the typical say-the-right-thing responses from most GMs and players.
It doesn't matter what I think. I mean, the team's the team now, so you hope you get healthy and find out. I just love professional sports in the playoffs because it all gets answered. This isn't some subjective Grammy Awards or Oscars where you think you got screwed. If you lose, you weren't good enough, and if you win, you were.
The Warriors have looked really good in spurts. When they are locked in, they are one of the hardest teams in the NBA to prepare for and defend. On any given night, it could be Steph raining threes and sending defenders into cardiac arrest with his non-stop movement of the ball. Or it might be Klay draining shot after shot, and it could also be Jordan Poole, who signed a massive new contract to stay in Golden State during the offseason. When things are clicking, it seems obvious why people still consider the Warriors a real threat. Take a look at Jordan Poole, the living headache for Warriors fans and coach Steve Kerr. The young guard can play lights out. However, he's also known to get in a lot of trouble and make boneheaded plays.
Ball into the front court. These passes.
If you look at the game films of the W's victories as of late, you'll see Poole taking his time to make the right play. The important pass which makes the difference between a bad shot or a turnover and an easy bucket for one of his teammates. Klay Thompson is back. It's official. He's got his NBA legs under him, and since late December, the three-point assassin has been on a tear. Klay is at his best when he is hitting spot-up jumpers and three-point shots. And he seems to be back in his stride, no longer forcing his game and taking shots he isn't confident he can make. But really, we know what makes the Warriors go: Steph Curry. Before Steph's most recent injury, he was playing lights-out basketball. On the season, Steph has averaged nearly 30 points per game. And once again, he is flirting with the 50-40-90 club, a club where he is a regular member. There are few players in the league that can play with the pace of Steph. Whether it's making the impossible shots or moving between screens until he finds that split second of space to drill a demoralizing dagger in the face of a defender, Steph continues to demonstrate his versatile arsenal of offensive weapons. The problem has been getting them all on the court at the same time and consistently. Draymond anchors everything and uses his elite passing to help his teammates get good looks. But that is hard when teams aren't deathly afraid of where Steph is at all times. No Steph on the court means defenses don't have to fret over his whereabouts and can lock in on Poole and Klay. It also means the movement without the ball is not as dangerous, so Draymond is less effective. Offense is something that will return. It always does, especially when Steph is healthy and back in the lineup. But what has always made the Warriors a unique team and a very difficult team to defeat is their defense. Draymond is the heart of their defense, and when their defense is solid, they are a much more dangerous opponent. Add Dante DiVincenzo, who adds great on-the-ball defense and a solid offensive contribution, averaging almost 10 points off the bench. And up-and-coming Jonathan Kuminga, a player with size and the foot speed to move laterally and stay in front of multiple positions. When it's all clicking, you've got something special. But again, it comes down to consistency. As you can see, all the pieces are there. Time will tell if they can figure it out and make it work. After the All-Star break wraps up, it's going to be all hands on deck as each team fights for their slot in the playoffs. Things will not get easier for the Warriors, but if Steph and Wiggins are healthy, they have the talent to beat anyone on any given night. This is why we love sports, the drama of it all. Sitting at the top of the Western Conference or down at the 9 seed where they currently reside, the Warriors have a target on their back. The league is against them and wants to win against them more than any games on their schedule. Champions like a challenge, and they won't back down from anything. Let's see what the Warriors are made of.